Jennifer managed to distract Tariq by pretending to have a leak in her roof. "You think you can plug my leak, Daddy?" "Tat." While he was distracted, she swiped a swab across his cheek with the speed of a ninja. "What was that?" Tariq asked, blinking. "Just checking for gingivitis." Jennifer lied. "It's a salon service. Very high-end." Next came Marcus. That night, Angela crept into the bedroom with the second swab. Marcus was snoring, a deep, rhythmic sound that usually annoyed her but now served as her cover. She approached him like a jewel thief, the swab trembling in her hand. She reached for his mouth. "No, Keisha. Don't put the red drapes in the office. Richard's gonna kill me." Angela froze. Keisha? Richard? Office drapes? She shook it off. She had a mission. She lunged with the swab, swiping it across Marcus's inner cheek just as he let out a massive snort and woke up. "What? What is it?" "Angela, you were snoring, baby." Angela squealed, hiding the swab behind her back. "Oh," Marcus grunted, rolling over. "Thanks, babe. Love you." "Love you too," Angela whispered, sweating. "Now let's see what the lab says." Chapter 4: The Peaches Incident. While the DNA drama brewed, a new crisis emerged. MJ was high. At least, that's what Angela concluded when she found a perfectly rolled joint in the hallway outside his bedroom. She didn't just fly off the handle, she exited the atmosphere entirely. "I refused to have a crackhead as a child." Angela screamed in the kitchen, waving the joint at Marcus. All that money for his braces. All that money for his education. And now he's going to be living on a street corner, with no teeth, scratching himself and calling people peaches. "Angela, calm down," Marcus said, trying to take the joint from her. "It's weed. It's not crack. And it's one joint. We don't even know if it's his. It was in front of his door. And he came home today, saying he was flying high, as a kite, because he got an A on a test. He's using drug lingo, Marcus. He's bawling. He's got the unlock." They hauled MJ into the living room for an intervention that looked more like an interrogation. "MJ, is this yours?" Marcus asked, holding up the contraband. "That's a joint," MJ said, unimpressed. "What are you doing with that, Dad?" "Are you and Mom finally chilling out? Because I support it." "Don't you play with me, boy," Angela yelled. "I will pop you right upside your head." "Are you smoking the Mary Jane?" "No, I told you, I'm an athlete. I need my lungs." "Then how did it get here?" MJ looked toward the kitchen, where Miss V, the housekeeper, was quietly folding laundry. He looked back at his parents. A wicked glint entered his eye. "It's Miss V's." Ben. The silence that followed was absolute. "MJ," Marcus said, his voice dangerously low. "You are not about to lie on this elderly woman. That is a new low, even for a drug-addled brain." "I'm not lying. Ask her." Miss V walked into the room, looking tired. "What's the fuss?" "Miss V," Angela said gently. "MJ is trying to claim this. This icky belongs to you." Miss V looked at the joint. She looked at MJ. She looked at Marcus and Angela. Angela's jaw hit the floor. "Miss V, you're a pusher?" "I'm a patient." Miss V corrected her, her voice softening. "I've been taking chemotherapy. I have a little cancer. The marijuana. It helps with the nausea. It calms my stomach." The room shifted. The anger evaporated, replaced by a crushing wave of guilt. Marcus and Angela looked at each other, then at Miss V, then at the floor. "Miss V, why didn't you tell us?" Marcus asked, stepping forward to hug her. "Because I didn't want a fuss," she said. "I'm fine. The doctor says 3 more treatments." "But MJ, he found my stash." "I'm sorry, baby." MJ crossed his arms. "I want an apology, in the form of a PlayStation, and a Bentley, and I want to be called Beyoncé." "Go to your room, MJ," Marcus and Angela said in unison. Chapter 5: The Wedding of the Century. Oh, not. In the midst of the Williams domestic theater, Their friends were having their own existential crises. Richard, Marcus's business partner, had decided to marry Keisha, Marcus's ex-wife. It was a move that defied logic, social etiquette, and common sense. "I'm upgrading her ring," Richard told Marcus at the office. "Are just two-piece?" Marcus asked. "Do you mean at rest? Like a funeral?" "Whatever. I love her." Joseph, the most stable member of the group, was also feeling the pressure. His girlfriend Leslie, Angela's best friend, was the love of his life, but she had a phobia of marriage that bordered on the clinical. "I saw the ring in your bag, Joseph," Leslie said that night at dinner. She looked terrified, as if he were holding a live grenade rather than a piece of jewelry. "Leslie, we've talked about this," Joseph said. "What we have works. Why change it?" "Exactly," Leslie said, her voice rising an octave. "I wasn't. That ring was for Richard. He asked me to pick it up." Leslie stopped. Her face went through a complex series of emotions: relief, then confusion, then surprisingly fury. "Oh, so you don't want to marry me?" Joseph blinked. "But you just said—" "I said I was scared. I didn't say I wasn't worth the effort. You're acting like being married to me would be a ball and chain. Like I'm some kind of beast." "Leslie, you're losing altitude," Joseph said, using their code for when she was spiraling. "Pull up?" "I'm crashing and burning, Joseph, because you just said hell no to the idea of spending your life with me." "I didn't say hell no. I said what we have works, which is man code for I want to keep my options open." Meanwhile, Richard and Keisha were actually doing it. They went to a judge, skipped the 22 Clydesdales and the 5,000 doves Keisha had initially demanded, and tied the knot in a 10-minute ceremony that Richard felt was a bargain. "Look at my ring!" Keisha shrieked, bursting into the salon later that day. "I'm Mrs. Richard now. Angela, don't you look at it too hard. You might go blind." Angela looked at the ring. It was massive. It was gaudy. It was perfect for Keisha. "Congratulations, Keisha. I hope Richard has a good insurance policy. For the ring and his sanity." Chapter 6. The truth, sort of. The DNA results arrived in a plain manila envelope. Angela sat at the kitchen table, the same place where this all started with the Larry White songs and the thin walls. Her hands shook as she tore it open. Paternity test results. Subject A, Marcus Williams, and Subject C, MJ Williams. 99.9% match. Angela let out a sob of relief. She put her head in her hands and cried. Marcus wasn't a cheater. Mostly, MJ was his son, and the only thing she had truly destroyed was a Mercedes and a few dozen silk ties. Marcus walked in, seeing her crying. Angela looked up, tears streaming down her face. "No, Marcus. She's fine. Everything's fine. I'm just a crazy woman." "I know," Marcus said, sitting down and pulling her into his lap. "Something with even thinner walls. Don't push it." "Marcus." Angela laughed through her tears. Downstairs, the rumble of Barry White began to emanate from the speakers. "I've found that something that I needed." MJ, upstairs in his room, slammed his history book shut. "Here we go again. Larry White is back. Can a kid get some peace in this house?" "It's Barry," Marcus yelled from the kitchen. "Whatever," MJ yelled back. "Just don't come up here for at least an hour. I'm bawling. I've got the unlock." Angela leaned against Marcus, listening to the music. The walls were thin. The drama was constant. And their friends were all varying degrees of insane. But as the velvet voice of Barry White filled the room, she realized that for better or worse, this was home. And then she remembered Tariq. "Marcus?" "Yeah, babe? We need to fire the contractor. I'll do the drywall myself. Finna by me, babe. Finna by me." The end. The Chronicles of Chaos. Love, Laughter, and Lady Andy's Salon. Chapter 1. The Thin Walls of Atlanta. The morning sun over the Atlanta suburbs was usually a signal for peace. But in the Williams household, it was merely the opening bell for the first round of daily theatrics. Marcus Williams, a man whose physical stature usually commanded respect and whose voice